Let me introduce myself. Me presento. Patricia Oviedo, Area Representative for Central and Central America, and moderator for this webinar. This is going to be a very friendly talk between guides from the Americas, the Caribbean, and I can see that there are people from some other countries. So all of you are very welcome. Okay, let me start with a quote. One of the oldest activities of humanity is that of the guide. However, the guides are not recognized on Earth. Una de las actividades más antiguas de la humanidad es la del guía. Sin embargo, los guías no son reconocidos. Vamos a ver en esta charla qué podemos hacer para ser reconocidos. So at the end of the webinar, we're going to see what can we do to be recognized. This was said by Joan Pasolas, Vice President of the World Tourism Organization, when he was in Mexico, 2022. Well, let me present you our agenda for tonight. We had the welcome and introduction. Bienvenida, introducción al webinar. Vamos a tener una primera encuesta, the first poll. Then we have also the opening remarks, palabras de apertura, Presidente Sebastián. Then we're going to have a short introduction of the area rep by Maricar Donato. Introducción sobre las áreas representativas hechas por Maricar Donato. Luego viene una segunda encuesta, poll number 2. And after that, we're going to do a very short journey through the area representative of this webinar. We continue with the breakout rooms. In this part, we're going to have 30 minutes to talk, 30 minutes to talk between us. And after that, we're going to do the debrief. Vamos a dividir el gran grupo en 3 grupos más pequeños y al final vamos a dar un pequeño informe sobre lo conversado en este breakout room. Then we're going to have the participation of Vice President talking about membership process and benefits of the World Federation. And we continue with the training division, something that is very important for guides. We must be trained all the time. So, vamos a hablar del proceso de membresía, los beneficios de estar en la federación y también sobre las áreas de capacitaciones, algo que es muy importante para los guías. Y al final vamos a dar una conclusión. Espero que bueno, el webinar sea de mucha productividad para nosotros. We are going to finish with a conclusion, excuse me. So, at this point, we have the first poll. Please, if you answer these questions, por favor, si pudieran responder a estas preguntas. Bueno, si son guías, si trabajan en otra área del turismo. Please answer these questions.
Hay una pregunta.
Sí, diferencia entre tourist guide y tour guide.
I think it's really a question of just the language you use. In European countries and overseas, often they say tourist guide. Well, in the United States, we say tour guide. So when I'm in Italy, I'll say I'm a guida turistica, I'm a tourist guide. In New York, I'm a tour guide. So pick your profession.
En Europa hacemos la distinción entre un tourist guide y un tour guide. El tourist guide es la manera que nos gusta definir cuando somos guías oficiales locales, que trabajamos en un solo área, y el tour guide lo llamamos más bien al guía acompañante, ese que llega con el grupo y hace todo el viaje. Y muchas personas en Europa trabajamos muy distintivamente. La mayoría o somos guías acompañantes o somos guías locales. Algunos, por supuesto, que son ambas cosas. Trabajan también con un grupo llevándolos en todos los momentos del viaje por varios días. Eso es un poco la distinción que hacemos aquí en Europa.
En
Okay,
Sudamérica,
Helga has her, Viola has her hand raised. Viola, would you like to speak?
yes.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. And thank you very much also for bringing up this very important question. What is the difference between a tourist guide and a tour guide? The difference is a tourist guide is a heritage interpreter and a tour guide is an organizer. So I was just about to type the definition of a tourist guide in our chat. There's actually a definition which WFTGA has adopted. It's called EN 13809. And as I say, the full definition of a tourist guide is a person, not a guidebook or a computer. A tourist guide is a person who guides people or visitors in the language of their choice and interprets the cultural and natural heritage of an area and has an area-specific qualification. So it's very important to know the difference between a tour guide or tour manager or tour director and a tourist guide. And we are the World Federation of Tourist Guides Association. So thank you again for letting me be part of this meeting, and I'm sure we will have a fruitful discussion.
Thank you, Viola. Thank you so much.
Yes, in some countries there are also some other differences, no? Here, for example, we call a tour guide to the tour conductor. Aquí en Perú el tour guide es el tour conductor. A tourist guide is the guide that goes with tourists.
Okay, so I think we have the results of poll 1. Patricia, you want to go over that?
Let's see, in the group, the 40% of people, they are tourist guide. Then we have 21% are tour guide. Just 14, they are official representative, and 21% are others. For the second question, I'm not a tour guide, 14%. That's all that I have here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, and I think we can move on to the next part.
Okay, don't forget that. Okay, let me introduce our president, Sebastian Frankenberger, part of the executive board of this World Federation. Please, Sebastian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patricia, and thank you everybody who is here, who has organized that. Special thanks to Mari Carr and to all the area representative. And sorry, I can't speak Spanish. I would love to speak Spanish because here I'm in Vienna and we have a lack of Spanish guides. The city is at the moment so crowded with Spanish guests, and we don't know where we should take the guides from to guide. And yeah, this is what's happening, I think, at the world. It's high season in some part of the world, like here in Europe. September, October is for us really the crazy time. And what we are realizing is that we have more and more tourists, more and more guests who are interested in our heritage sites, in our nature, in our cities. And it's really a pleasure to guide them. And we as World Federation are here to help guides, but not only guides. The World Federation of Tourist Guide Association is especially for associations. So we are an umbrella association. We have over 80 members in our association, and we are here to help association. And this is our main topic, what we are doing at the moment. We listen guides in all over the world. We had already a webinar with the African tourist guides. We had one with the Asian tourist guides. And we listened what the guides need, what the association needs. But what we are realizing more and more that we have a lot of guides who are not organized in association, who are coming directly to us, who are asking us, how can you help us? What is it with training? What is exactly the difference between a tourist guide, a tour manager, and all that? And this is a little bit what we are also rethinking in WFTGA. We have a big strategy meeting with the executive board in approximately a month in Cyprus, where we also have our training center. Viola will talk later about that, and where we will think about the future. And for us, the future is what our members need or what guides really need. What can we do with our service? How can we help you? And this is also what we are doing today in our breakout rooms. Please tell us really, what are your needs? And is it training? Is it networking? Whatever it is, we want to listen in this webinar. And then great, we will have a great future together. Sorry, I'm really a little bit tired. I had 4 tours today, and in Europe it's a little bit in the middle of the night. But yeah, we always try to be on the time zone of our participants. So it was a pleasure for all of us to join here in the middle of the night. But now I would say we continue with our talk, and perhaps some of Patricia or Helga, perhaps you can summarize the most important parts in Spanish, because our language is English in this association, but we always try to translate or to help guides in their local language. Thank you for being here, and let's have a great discussion.
We appreciate a lot your participation, despite of being too late there where you are. So, Sebastián dio sus palabras de bienvenida a este webinar. La Federación Mundial está interesada en poder congregar más guías, y por ello también habló de la capacitación, ¿no? En noviembre va a haber una capacitación en Chipre. Esto es muy importante porque allí se puede ver también los estándares de los guías y poder encontrar la diferencia entre lo que es un guía de turismo. Y precisamente lo que se quiere es eso, congregar a todos los guías de turismo en esta umbrella, en este paraguas tan amplio que es el guiado de turismo. Thank you so much, Sebastián. Now, let me introduce Maricar Donato, who is the brand ambassador of the Federation, and she is also the area rep coordinator in these meetings that we have. She tries to communicate all of us between the meetings and many other presentations. So, Maricar Donato, Global Brand Ambassador, también es la persona que se encarga de la comunicación dentro de esta Federación Mundial. Por favor, Maricar, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Patricia, and good evening, everyone. Good evening, and I'm calling in from Washington, D.C., where I am based here. I am originally from the Philippines, but I have lived in the U.S. for 40 years and have been with the World Federation for almost 30 years. So it's a pleasure to have been designated as the Global Brand Ambassador. So we have the area representatives, which is a division of the World Federation. We are composed of 16 area representatives from diverse cultural backgrounds. We speak multiple languages, and we represent the whole globe. So it's a very global representation of our members. So we have representatives coming from Africa. We have them coming from Asia. We have them coming from Europe, a lot of them, because we have a lot of our members are coming from the European continent. And we have also from the Americas, and they are who we are showcasing tonight. We have 3 of our area representatives from the Americas. We have the North America, which is represented by Emma Guest-Consales, and she also represents the Caribbean and Oceania. And then we have South and Central America, represented by Patricia, and with Helga. So with that, we cover the entire globe. And we are really volunteers for the Federation. And we they are very dedicated, and they give their time, what do you call this, their time, their expertise, their experience, their leadership to all our members. And it is incredible that we are doing this voluntarily, and we all love it. So we have never had a convention in the Americas or in the Caribbean. So if anybody would like to bid for the convention for 2028, it is open. We welcome you to bid. And maybe later on, we can talk about that. If you're interested in bidding, we can talk about that. But the important thing is to communicate to us what your needs are. As our president mentioned, this is for you, our members. We have created a space. And if you want to become a member, future potential affiliate, a partner, this is open for you. We're here to listen, not to reply exactly, but to listen and understand your concern and your needs. And hopefully we will grow together as a community, as a very diverse global community, which is very much needed in this very, a world that is so noisy. We need some peace, and we are the peace ambassadors. And we hope that we can continue working with you. Thank you very much. And Helga, if you want to summarize what I just said, please do.
Sí, puedo hacer yo el resumen. Maricardo Nato es la Global Brand Ambassador de esta federación. Como ven en esta foto, somos 16 áreas representativas. La federación representa a todo el mundo. Somos, hay gente de Europa, la mayor parte de Europa, Asia, África y América. Solo que en América somos muy pocos. Lo que queremos es lograr que en adelante pues hayan más representantes de América, ¿no? Se trabaja en comunidad, todos somos voluntarios y damos bastante de nuestro tiempo para poder trabajar y hacer lo máximo posible en esta federación. Sí. Thank you so much, Maricar.
Thank you, Patricia.
Okay, now we have our second poll. We are going to see some questions and please answer them. En esta segunda encuesta, por favor, igual van a responder a las preguntas que se les formula aquí en este cuadro. Y por favor, si pudieran responder a las preguntas. Okay, los invito a que respondan las preguntas. I invite you to answer the questions, please. We're waiting for your answers.
We did not get so many answers. I think we do the poll once again later after the breakout. We should better continue and move forward, I would say. Or maybe I have to stop the screen sharing and do it again. Maybe this would help.
Yeah, or we can do it later too,
Do
Sebastian.
it later, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Hay
it's
una
better.
pregunta, veo una mano levantada.
José Luis Rivas.
Luis Rivas.
José Lu-
Sí, muy buenas noches. Le saludo fraternalmente de Guatemala. Mi consulta estaba llenando mi formulario, pero se desapareció de la pantalla y me faltaba una pregunta.
Mm.
Algunas veces la técnica nos juega mal los ratos, ¿eh?
Un gusto saludarles. Fuerte abrazo desde Guatemala.
Gracias.
Gracias por estar aquí.
Lindísimo país.
Helga, tell him that we're coming back later.
Volveremos a esta encuesta más tarde. Vamos a seguir con la presentación para llegar al fogón, que es lo que más nos gusta.
Okay, now we're going to do a very short journey through the area representative. Isabel Patricia Oviedo Vela. I'm an official guide in Arequipa, Peru, since the year 2006. I'm expo of my association, the Association of Professional Tourist Guides of Arequipa, Peru. And my association is part of this World Federation since 2010. Since the year 2015, I'm area representative for Peru, first of all. Then I was representative of Central and South America, then South America, and this year I was appointed to America Central. So for me, it's a very pleasure to be in this big family. And of course, I invite you also to be part of this. Thank you.
Hola, soy Helga, yo me presento en español. Yo trabajo en Francia, estoy viviendo en París, soy guía y soy tesorera de la Federación Nacional de Guías de Francia. Y empecé a trabajar con la Organización Mundial como delegada de Francia. Y dado que mi país de origen es Uruguay y me encanta hablar español y me encanta estar en América Latina, poco a poco me pidió la organización si podía ayudarle a Patricia en América Latina con sobre todo las preguntas que venían de los países. Y bueno, poco a poco me fui metiendo y la verdad es que con mucha satisfacción estoy contactando personas. Cuando estuve en Chile tuve el placer de conocerlas no solamente virtualmente, sino personalmente, y siempre el intercambio con otros guías es algo que te enseña mucho, da mucha satisfacción, uno aprende mucho de otras personas y es por eso que me gusta ser representante del área. También me ocupo de España, Italia y Suiza.
Just a moment. Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Guest-Consales. I am the area representative for North America, the Caribbean, and Oceania. I did adjust my translation, so I hopefully the closed caption is coming up in Spanish as I'm speaking in English. Hablo un poquito español, ma está mejor para todos if I speak in English. I could do it in Italian, but we're not going there. So I'm very happy to be an area representative. This is my first term as an area representative, but I have been involved with the WFTGA as former president of the Guides Association of New York City, also known as GANIC, and as on the member of the finance committee. So I helped to look at the finances of the WFTGA. I'm a tourist guide in New York City, and where I work at the One World Observatory, as well as doing group tours in English and in Italian, which is my other language. I do visit Europe quite often, mostly to Italy, and I often end up guiding there with friends and family, of course, not as a professional tourist guide. I do love working with the WFTGA. I really enjoy the camaraderie, the international connections that we all get to make, and I'm very excited to be here with you all today. I hope this is the start of many interesting conversations, and for guides who are in the Caribbean, I am your official representative. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or need anything. You'll have all our information, but it's very easy. It's just our first names at WFTGA.org. So feel free to write to Emma at WFTGA.org. Also for our representatives, our members who are joining us from the United States and from Canada, as I am a representative for North America. So thank you all, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Okay, now we are going to pass to this other point, breakout rooms. We call it fogón or charla. Ahora pasamos a la parte donde vamos a dividir los grupos. Las instrucciones. We divide the groups in 3. Each one is going to have 30 minutes. The whole discussion will be recorded. The discussion group questions will be facilitated by Patricia, Helga, and Emma. There are 3 main topics to talk, and facilitators will share. Then we're going to pass again to the main room. We return to the main room, and at the end, we're going to have the debrief by the area rep facilitators. Dividimos en 3 grupos. Room number 1 with Patricia en español. Room number 2, Helga en español. Room number 3, Emma in English. While Maricar is going to stay in the main room. At the end, we're going to have a summary of this conversation. Pasamos a los grupos y tomen en cuenta estas preguntas. Si es posible, tomen una foto a ellas. If you had one wish to request to the WFTGA, could you do for you? What would it be? Si tuvieras un pedido a la federación, ¿cuál sería? What challenges do you face in your career as a tourist guide, and how the WFTGA can better support you in overcoming them? ¿Qué necesidades enfrentas en tu carrera como guía? y cómo la federación podría darte soporte? How can WFTGA help you stay competitive and innovative in the evolving tourism industry? ¿Cómo podría ayudarte la federación para ser competitivo e innovativo en la industria del turismo? Por favor, tomen en cuenta estas 3 preguntas, pero no es obligatorio solamente hablar de ellas. Podemos hablar de otros temas, de capacitaciones, de algunos, no sé, consejos, algo que pudiera mejorar nuestra actividad. So right now we have 30 minutes to these breakout rooms. Vamos a tener 30 minutos de conversación.
Okay, so you can click the breakout room numbers, or will you assign them, Sebastian?
Everybody can click and join his preferred breakout room. So you should see which breakout room you can join.
Is it under the more, under the 3 dots?
If it's not right on your screen, it's under the 3 dots, yes. And sometimes it's already there and saying breakout rooms. And if not, we can assist you also. Christina is here to assist you.
Everybody find the breakout room, 3 dots on the lower right of the dot. Please move now to your rooms.
I stop screen sharing, perhaps then it's easier.
Gabi, are you going to the breakout room?
Yeah, yes, I'm coming. I'm choosing. I think I'm checking which one. So I'm probably gonna be I think with
You can go anywhere you want, Patricia or Helga or
okay. Thank you. Norman.
and Andy Spark also, Andy? Peter, are you here?
Yeah, I need to know if Peter speaks English or Spanish, so I
No.
can.
Peter is with Ghana. He's English.
Okay.
He
And
wants,
And
yeah.
Gabriela Plomasso.
Yeah, I will go to now. I will join for a moment to Helga's room.
Helga, well, and Ana Maria Stingel.
En el grupo de Helga, pero no sé cómo entrar.
Okay. Actually, myself, I would like to be one of these groups as well.
Which group?
Could be Helga.
I see everyone slowly making their way back in.
We're waiting for the Spanish group. Oh, Patricia is back.
Everybody's back.
Welcome back.
Dankeschön, Sebastian.
We back.
So, vamos a seguir. Queda un poco un rastro de frustración de no poder seguir hablando, ¿verdad? Pero bueno, ya nos vamos a organizar un nuevo fogón para seguir mateando juntos, ¿sí?
Okay, Patricia, who is summarizing? Please unmute, Patricia.
Perdón. Sí. In my group was Gabriela from France, from Mexico, Patricia also, and from Peru, Vanessa, from Chile was also Juan. And we talk about what they could ask for this World Federation, about the trainings, las capacitaciones, que son muy importantes, pero hubo un pedido, sobre todo que no se piense solamente en el idioma inglés, sino también en español. The World Federation has the trainings in Cyprus, and all the trainings are in English. So it would be good to have some trainings also in Spanish. And another question is that perhaps the trainings can be in the place where we ask for. I mean, por ejemplo, tal vez México puede pedir una capacitación que sea en el idioma español. Brasil podría hacerlo en portugués, ¿no? Tratar de incluir estas otras lenguas, no solamente el inglés. Ahora, en el tema de capacitación, it's also good to have trainings, virtual trainings or presential trainings. But some courses can be virtual, must be in presence. So this is something that people ask for. Muchos sí consideran que en cierto modo es una limitante el idioma, ¿no? El idioma. En todos los países, in all these countries, they have certified guides. So, but the only thing is that in each country, sometimes the laws can change, the rules are quite different, ¿no? El problema en muchos países es que tienen sus normas específicas y a veces de país a país cambian estas normas. Entonces, no sé cómo se podría hacer para estandarizar las...
Déjame bajar tu tapita aquí. Agarra esta jodona, mira.
los temas de capacitación sobre todo,
Déjame
¿no?
bajar todo esto. Mira, yo creo.
Who is that? We need to mute that person. Okay, go ahead, Patricia, please.
Okay. I could see also that Mexico has a lot of advantages if we talk about the other countries, ¿no? México nos lleva la delantera en muchos aspectos. Tienen muchas horas de capacitación, cosa que no hay en otros países, o al menos aquí en Perú no las tenemos, ¿no? When we finish our studies, we get the certification and we are guides, but the government doesn't ask for some other hours of training. No, this is something that changed in these countries. After 4 years, they also have their certification, but they continue having the hours of trainings. Sí, después de 4 años ellos obtienen su certificación, pero siguen teniendo horas para poder capacitarse aún más, ¿no? Hay que incluir también algunas alternativas de cierto tipo de capacitación. Primeros auxilios, por ejemplo, mencionaron que era muy importante, ¿no? First aid courses are very important, so this is something that we can do. A training virtual must be present. I think that's all. Another thing that we have here in Latin America is that people are very warm, and we keep this kind of being everywhere. So this is something different, because in Europe the guiding is a little bit different. It's so direct. En América Latina la gente es mucho más cálida, entonces esto es algo que mantenemos siempre aun cuando vayamos a otros lugares, ¿no? A veces esto es chocante para los latinos en otros países, sobre todo en Europa. Well, this is all about my group.
Okay, let's move to room 2. Helga, you want to summarize room 2? Please unmute.
It was a very nice little group, but I felt very comfortable with Jose Luis from Guatemala, Ana from Patagonia in Argentina, and having such a last name so particular, Sturzenegger, coincides that Anna asked me if I was related anyhow to a minister in this moment in Argentina. And this is not the first time people ask me, because this minister Sturzenegger is very, very known in Latin America. He comes certainly from the same village in Switzerland. Our ancestors certainly are the same, but no, regretfully, he's not my cousin. So I cannot call him and ask him, what are you doing? Because it's really dangerous. He is trying to desregularize. I don't know if in English I can say it this way. So Argentinian guides normally do need an accreditation, and this accreditation is after doing university and trainings. And this minister is trying to get rid of this law that is protecting the official guide. And Anna was telling me, how could we WFTGA help them? Well, regretfully, I cannot knock at the door and say, dear cousin, what are you doing? But maybe in a way, because this is something quite common, what is happening in this world. At least in France, we are menaced by the same. They would love that everybody could be a guide, and they are encouraging private people to volunteer and be guide for a day, also during the Olympics. No, yes, be guide. Welcome everybody. You only need a big smile, and that's all. And about this big smile, which is the welcoming heart, which is essential of our profession. This is what we talked also with Jose Luis from Guatemala. This may be, regardless what language and how many knowledge you have of your country, the most important is what we give, that is love to our groups, ¿no? This is our common sense. Bueno, en español, bien rápido, lo que se habló en mi fogón, porque a mí me gustó llamar a los breakout rooms fogones. En Uruguay nos gusta tomar el mate y nos pasamos el mate y estuvimos charlando un poco del tema en común, que es este amor que dedicamos a las personas que nos visitan, a los que participan en nuestras visitas guiadas, que da igual qué idioma hablemos, ¿no? En qué país estemos guiando, esto es lo que tenemos en común los guías, ¿no? Las ganas de compartir y de compartir protegiendo a nuestros visitantes, de que nadie los engañe y de que realmente conozcan nuestro país y nuestras culturas. Eso es lo que tenemos en común. Y con Ana de Patagonia estuvimos hablando sobre el peligro que está amenazando la profesión en Argentina, pero no es solamente en Argentina, porque en Francia está pasando lo mismo. Es los gobiernos que intentan desregularizar la profesión, es decir, intentan decir que no se necesita una acreditación para ser guía, que cualquiera puede ser guía, y todo ese trabajo que tuvimos para obtener las acreditaciones, para exigir que haya una capacitación antes de que se ejerza la profesión, se está perdiendo, ¿no? Y mucha fuerza en Europa, eso es la conclusión que yo doy, es también con este sistema de free tour, ¿no? Que en París están muy, pero muy presentes, y en algunas ciudades como Burdeos, en el sur de Francia, ya los guías oficiales no pueden prácticamente guiar en la calle porque los free tours los han invadido, ¿no? Y eso es un poco cómo podemos hacer la Organización Mundial para ayudarnos mutuamente para mantener la exigencia de capacitación antes de ser guía. So this is a little bit what was going on in my fogón. And Gaby jumped in also in a moment and shared also a little bit of our conversation.
Okay, thank you, Helga. Okay, next room 3, and then we go to the membership. Okay, Emma, go ahead.
So hi, everyone. So I had a very small little group, just 10 of us, all from the USA, plus lovely Deborah from Barbados. And then we also had Peter joining us from Sierra Leone, and Viola beaming in from across the Atlantic. So it was great to see everyone. And I'm sorry I can't do a lovely translation into Spanish, so I hope the captions, my captions are working okay. I just want to make sure it's all coming through. So the discussion was really, and this is something that always comes up for when U.S. tour guides are speaking about WFTGA, and perhaps they don't know what it is, or really what it has to do with guiding in the United States. And that's something that's, and Jim and Harvey spoke to that. I did as well, and so did Carol too, is the importance of WFTGA for American tour guides, for tour guides in the USA, even though the United States does not have a Ministry of Tourism, does not have that kind of umbrella organization that we have in so many different countries. In the United States, it's literally everyone doing their own thing. Some cities have licensing rules, other cities don't. And so the WFTGA can only play a small part in that in terms of setting rules and regulations for U.S. tour guides. But what it does offer, and it's something that those of us who spoke about it, is it offers an incredible amount of fellowship, of networking, of ways to learn from other tour guides and learn from other professionals in the business. And I know that the meetings I've attended, I've had a wonderful time being in contact with people. And even in this kind of virtual community, it's really important. And so that's something that we're stressing because, for example, Sherry, who joined us, who didn't really know much about WFTGA, and we also had John, who coming in from DC as well, to let them know what WFTGA means and what it can do in the terms of this kind of fellowship, this kind of networking, this kind of international contacts that are really crucially important. We are a big, big world, and we should all be in touch with each other. We also heard from Peter from Sierra Leone, who was asking about some training questions and made some really excellent points. Viola was taking lots of notes, so I'm sure she'll bring those up too when she speaks. And then so interesting to hear from Deborah from Barbados, who mentioned her difficulty in forming an association in her country because of also the politics of working with her country's tourist boards, but also with working with more experienced tour guides who sort of do things their own way because they've always sort of done it in that way. And ultimately, and this really was an eye-opener, Deborah, so thank you for talking about this, of how sometimes it's not in the best interests of a country's authorities to have a guiding association. They don't want to have standards. And Helga, I'm pointing at my camera, sorry, you brought that up too. If you are legitimizing tour guiding as a profession, not every, Joe Schmo can hang out their shingle and say, hey, I'm a tour guide. If you are setting standards, if you are having an international umbrella organization that says this is how tour guides should be acting, this is the way a professional should be treated. And so like Deborah was saying, people can undercut other tour guides. You can have untrained, unprofessional tour guides, and then what happens? Who ultimately is, suffers from all this are the guests, are the tourists. And so you can have an international organization, but if the authorities don't want to see that kind of international organization, those kind of international standards being set, that's a really difficult an issue to confront. And that's it's really hard to do. And so one thing I said to Deborah, and I know all the area reps here can say that, we're here for you to listen to your needs. So just to be a sounding board, just to hear like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. And so perhaps I might not be able to help because I don't have to deal with a Ministry of Tourism, but somebody else in WFTGA does, and I can put you in contact with that person. So I think that was this sort of like it was a really nice kind of conversation and everybody got a chance to speak. And so we also don't forget, we also heard from Patricia, okay, and Patricia with her wonderful company, Discover Live, which does virtual tours from around the world. Okay, so if you want to contact Patricia, and she put her information in the chat, because she can do virtual tours. And so if anyone's interested in doing virtual tours, definitely contact Patricia, because we're tour guides and we want to talk and we want to make money while we talk. So Patricia may be another way of doing that. So that's really it from my little group. So yeah, back to you, Patricia.
Okay. Well, now continuing with this webinar, let me introduce Cristina Leal, who is Executive Board Member of this World Federation, and she's in charge of the membership process and benefits of the WFTGA. Please, Cristina.
Yes, thank you, Patricia, and thank you all for being with us. Some of us, in the middle of the night, really, but we are here for you. So it was really interesting to listen to your comments. And before I carry on explaining how the membership works, let me just tell you that I come from Portugal. So I come from a country where the profession was regulated between 1936 and 2011. So for many, many decades. In 2011, the profession was deregulated. And what we tried to do was to create a very strong association, exactly. And what we've actually experienced the past 13 years now is that even the state officials are now using our guides because they recognized that our standards are much higher than it's a lot of work, but it's really worth it to try to put your efforts in organizing yourself into an association, because that will give you a more comfortable position to deal with the officials and also with the tour operators. You know, many people makes you stronger, and always try to set your standards really high. So having just explained that a little, as it was pointed out before, the WFTGA, it's a federation of tourist guide associations. So in principle, we would like to accept associations into our family. Of course, in a country where there's no association, we may accept individual members. But just for you to know that from the moment that there is an association, probably you as an individual member will have to step out, because our main goal is to accept associations worldwide. And why is that? Because our job as a World Federation is also to put some pressure into the top officials like the UN, WTO, and, you know, even, why not, some governments. So that's what we try to do. And of course, if we are a federation of associations, it's all about numbers. So if you go to a certain, it's the same thing in your local area, probably in your country. At least when I was president of my association, I went to the State Secretary of Tourism. The first thing he asked is, how many are you? So if you say just a couple of hundreds, they don't listen to you. If you say you are 200,000, probably they will listen a little bit more. So numbers are important. And that's why association have a lot of associations within a federation. It's much more helpful. So we actually aim at associations. If there's no association in your country, we will help you establish one. There's a lot of people here that had to write constitutions. We know how to do it. We can send you some constitutions in English or in Spanish. I'm sorry, I understand Spanish perfectly because I'm Portuguese, but I'm sorry, I'm giving this speech in English because my Spanish is not too good. But I understand it very well. So we will help you writing your constitution. If you need help, that's no problem, we can do it. And then, of course, we would also like to invite the ones that are listening to us and are not an association or don't want to become individual members, because we can imagine that for some countries, the fees could be a little bit high, but we can also deal with that because we can ask for sponsorships. Anyway, any people that are not a tourist guide or not an association, you can also become an affiliate member. If you are any official or agency, just talk to us because we'd love to have you as an affiliate member. So these are more or less, if you have some questions, you can always email me. I'm available at Christina at WFTGA.org. Christina without an H, Christina. And of course, I'll be very pleased to give you every type of information that you need, because it's really important that we become more represented in Latin America. It's amazing that we only have 2 actually members from the whole of Latin and Central America, members of the WFTGA. We need to change that as soon as possible. So I'm open to questions if you have some.
Okay, thank you, Cristina. We appreciate also your presence here at this time for you. It's a little bit late. The same as Viola. Let me introduce now Viola Lewis, who is the head of training. She is also executive board of this federation. And she's going to talk about the trainings that the federation has for this year and also next year. Okay, Viola, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you very much. I'm really glad, to be here and also not only to speak, but to listen. And that's what WFTGA is there for. We are the global forum for professional tourist guides. And we might not have all the solutions, but, as Emma also said as well and others, it's a fellowship and it's really to help each other. So our constitution actually says we are dedicated to the promotion of high standards of training and ethics within the tourist guide profession. And how we do that, that is really a big question. And training, of course, is one of the aspects that makes us professional. Standards is another aspect that makes us professional. So really, sorry, I'm just seeing my email address in the chat. It's actually training at WFTGA. So the Viola one doesn't exist. Just going to put that in, sorry. Multitasking. Here we go. So you can contact me under training at WFTGA.org. And that continues, because the position is only, is an elected position, as Patricia also says. But this way, contacting training, you will get to whoever's looking after training at the moment. Okay, so let me maybe come back to some of the points I picked up from listening to you. And the first ones were from Peter in Sierra Leone. And I'm so glad that Peter is actually coming to our Train the Trainer course in Cyprus at the International Training Center in Cyprus in just under 1 month's time. So we try to have an annual course where we train trainers for tourist guides in our only at the moment International Training Center in Cyprus. And the next course starts on the 17th of November, and it's a 14-day course. It's a major commitment. It's actually our scholarship recipient for this year. It's a partial scholarship. So we, money is, it's an asset in a short everywhere. So we are no longer able to give full scholarship, but partial scholarships. And that also shows the commitment from our colleagues. So the point I'm trying to make is, because we were asking for, and that was Patricia was asking for training in other languages and also training on location. Now, the way we are aiming to do this is not training tourist guides, but training trainers of tourist guides who then can go home and train in location in their own language. So we have a training division, and you find, if you go onto the website, the WFTGA website, and you click under training, you will see we've got the 3 trainer qualifications, and then all our trainers, they have a profile on there. So that's the first thing, we are trying to spread the standards and, promote the standards by training trainers who then locally will train tourist guides. And now I'm coming back to Peter, because Peter gave us a wonderful menu of what his colleagues and he would like to be trained in. And that, first of all, he was saying bird watching. Now, I doubt that we in WFTGA can really train you on the specific of the birds in Sierra Leone. I know we've got bird watchers in other experts in other parts of our training division, like Roger springs to mind in Malaysia, but the birds are different in Malaysia and in Ghana. So one of the 3 aspects of the tourist guide training is area-specific knowledge. And this is something that has to be done locally. We, as the global organization, cannot train you on area-specific aspects. We can maybe help and signpost and talk to each other, but that is something where there is a limit. However, and then Peter went on to talk about the other aspects to know, and that was skills and common knowledge. So in terms of skills, Peter talked about communication skills. Our courses have the communication seminar. It lasts for 2 days where we really talk about communication, presentation, and heritage interpretation. And then also apply that on site, on a moving vehicle, during a walk, and also in a site. So really practical. And that's an aspect why our training has to be, to a certain extent, in person. Yes, the common knowledge. So the third aspect of it, the common knowledge, like sustainable tourism, which is very important, tourism for all, and customer service to a certain extent, customer satisfaction was one of the aspects Peter talked about. Also emergency response, Peter mentioned. Now we've got a module called crisis management and problem solving. Those aspects to a certain extent can be done online, but the skills training, and 40% of our courses is skills training, is best done in person. So sorry, that might have been a little bit a lot and quite much at the moment, but we are trying to listen and to put together the aspects of the training where we can help. But in the end, and there I come back to what Christina said, Tourist Guide Association, we need local Tourist Guides Association as well to make us stronger, to provide the local training, and indeed the continuous professional development, or CPD, in cooperation with us. So it's a big aspect. WFTGA is not a training organization, but we are aiming, and now I come back to where I started off, to promote the high standards of training and ethics in the profession. And ethics, let me finish with that. We just did, it was World Standards Day on the 14th of October, last Monday. Was it only last Monday? Yes. And this is really where we had, how many were we, Marika? Marika was there as well, about 14 or 12 trainers, actually. It was open to everybody, but it was trainers who came along. And we talked about ethics as well, and that's becoming more and more important. So I think we are beginning to realize that really the aspects of heritage interpretation in our training are growing and growing and growing. And especially in this time of climate crisis, sustainability, I already mentioned that. And by the way, sustainability also includes decent pay for local professionals like tourist guides. So that encompasses the whole aspect too. So coming back in the time of climate crisis and also the conflicts and wars in the world, value-based heritage interpretation, and what really travel is doing, first and foremost, bringing cultures together and also actually showing us what we have in common becomes so important. And our profession as tourist guides now is, I think, I've been a tourist guide now for 25 years, but I've never thought that tourist guide job is so professional, as Marika is so important, like Marika mentioned, as peace ambassadors, as guardians of the environment, as facilitators of sustainability. And this is where we can help each other by finding local solutions or showcasing our local solutions for everybody. So we are the global forum. We don't have all the solutions, but we can bring it together with your help. There's no big, a crystal ball somewhere sitting in my office or in Sebastian's office or in Christina's office. It's you who are the resources, and we are there to facilitate it and bring it together. Sorry again, apologies for waffling. It's 2 o'clock in the morning for me, but I hope you picked up a couple of aspects from my intervention.
Yes.
Thanks again.
We understand very well. Thank you, Viola, for being here. Thank you so much. Okay.
Again, like Christina said and others, if there are any questions, feel free to ask, and I will read the chat now in case there's anything in there. Thank you.
I think Gabby had her hand raised, right, Patricia? Gabby, did you have your hand raised?
Gabby, yes, and there was another person too.
Yeah, from I think Paraguay.
No, Jose from Guatemala.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so it's okay. I can. Okay. No, let me just change my language. Just 1 second. I changed my language. Yeah, I just had some very simple questions, just to know and get a little bit more acquainted with some of the WFTGA goals. Something that we've been talking in the Latin America and Caribbean network, in the professional network that we are part of it. We have this common question about how can we work with the training centers, the local training centers, because like you said, Viola, we totally understand that sometimes we cannot be a training center for everyone. It's very specialized. But knowing some of the friends that they're running these training centers, they're very knowledgeable about all of the ethics and especially the laws and requirements of each country. And they've been working a lot to actually make it all the trainings recognized and official, working with the government. So we've been trying to work closer now with local training centers. And we've seen that that is kind of like a very important link. And so then my question is more like, is it possible to encourage these training centers to become affiliates, probably, because they're not associations per se, like as an association of, but they actually are the ones that are helping also other associations, working with associations and working with the government. So I feel that all of these are key people in Latin America and the Caribbean, the training centers, and especially because of all the other problem that you mentioned, Helga, that is happening here in Paris. All these local guys, the freelance, they're not freelance, they're more like informal. They have no training certifications, accreditations, they have nothing. They're very popular, and we cannot ignore that people today, I mean, the visitors, the actual tourists are going there. They really promote a lot of their services, and so they're trying to reach all of these informal tourist guides. And organizations like ours that are trying to reinforce that the accreditations and training certifications, probably we have to find a way to cooperate with all of these training centers and find a way to make them, probably not being against them, but kind of like take all of these other informal guides and see how can we help them out. So that's what I've been, probably now that you're talking, Viola, I'm like thinking about training that much. And so my question is there a possibility to see how training centers can be also part of somehow get a membership with the WFTGA?
Membership.
Wait, may I ask a question? So when you're talking about training centers, so are there like state training centers, private ones? Are they training like certified guides, or are they training, or they're aiming to train informal guides? What are we talking about?
Okay, I'm thinking first about the official training centers for accreditation of tourist guides.
Okay.
They are actually working, yeah.
Yeah, that of course we would love to have them with us. So if we would be willing to send us some names, I would love to send them an email and to make them aware of the existence of WFTGA and invite them to join us, because we need to know who they are. Otherwise, I cannot send these emails. But because if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us some names so we can look them up and send them an email, of course.
Oh, that would be very good. I think we've been working closely with some of these official training centers, and we're trying to promote more of them, and we're trying to find that a specific solution for the advancing of the profession of tourist guides and heritage interpreters. And I think that has been, I mean, it's like question suggestion, so they will be very nice. I will send that information, of course, with the permission of these training centers too. And then, well, that was one of my questions. And of course, I hope that we can work more. And the other thing that they will need in America, in Latin America and the Caribbean, there will be the online is not simple. It's not easy for anyone in Latin America to fly to Europe and to stay in Europe and take training over there. So it's either bring the trainings in Latin America or have something online, depending on the training, of course, but it's not easy. There is a lot of talent. That's what we are also trying. There's a lot of very strong tourist guides in Latin America and the Caribbean, but they need the language. They need the other languages, and they need also to be considered because of the economy is completely different. So that's it for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Gabi, for your questions and suggestions. Thank you. So we are almost finishing this webinar. Please, before closing.
We do have a hand raised, Maxine from Jamaica.
Okay.
And I don't know if Jose Luis Rivas wanted to ask his question too.
Okay, Maxine.
Hello, everyone. Viola, I must say that I smiled when you said the timing is off for you. All right. I want to piggyback on the last point that Gabi made mention of, the cost factor in bringing WFTGA lead trainers into our region. It has always been a sore point that I tend to raise quite often. What can we do? Where can we meet in the middle? Because like Gabi, was it Gabi? I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. My apologies if I am not.
Correct.
All right, good. Thank you. We do have quite a lot of talents. We do have quite a lot of experienced guides without the WFTGA certification already. However, they really want to make that step. They really want to be a part of the association. However, we do not have the accreditation accessible because of the finances behind getting to you in Europe. Where can we meet in the middle? What can be done? Can another level as it relates to this region be something to be considered, where you have lead trainers for this side of the globe? I mean, I've been beating my head too often now. This is from 2010, and I'm not seeing any change. And to be honest, I am really losing hope.
No, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry when I come in.
Really losing hope.
Can you remind us, you are a WFTGA trainer, are you? Tell us.
Yes, I am. I am a WFTGA trainer since 2010. However, because of cost, what is needed for me is to return to do the other level to be a lead trainer.
But you are an international trainer. You can work locally, in your own country as an international trainer. In fact, all national trainers can work, in their own countries with that qualification. Christina, for instance, is a national trainer. Do we have any other national trainers with us? Helga at the moment. So,
All right.
you don't need the lead international trainer qualification.
No, it is not to train within my country to train tour guides. What has been the request is from countries within this region to have their own trainers, to have their own trainers, instead of having to dip into the coffers to contract lead trainers or another national trainer. They want persons who they can call on, someone within the confines of their country. Because again, it is the finances.
Sure. One aspect, sorry for answering straight away, since it is really training related.
No, go ahead. No, it's fine. Go ahead. We have been talking about this for some time.
I know, we have been kind of rocking our heads for
Yes.
years about that, true. But that reminds me to say, we are actually moving away a little from having international training centers to hosting what we call open international courses anywhere where we have a willing partner, a tourist guide association, I don't know, a ministry, or maybe just a really passionate individual. So we could come with some help, we could come somewhere to your region, Maxine, and have a local, or an open international course there. So from people coming from South America, the Caribbean, the United States, and taking it from that point. But again, and coming back to its partnership work. So alone, we as a non-profit organization run by volunteers, we are also limited in our resources, but together, and also thinking out of the box. So we need to, any hosts out there, any of you, if you want to host an open course, let's start working on it.
Okay, excuse me. I can see Jose Luis is also with the hand up. Please, I don't know what's your question. Perhaps you can write it down so we can have this, because we have to close this webinar. Jose Luis, please. If you write it down or you say it now.
Sí, la voy a escribir. Es
Okay.
una pequeña pregunta, ¿verdad?, a la Asociación Internacional de Turismo. Es que se pueda a tener un acercamiento como con el Instituto Guatemalteco de Turismo de mi querido país para, para poder recibir entrenamiento. Viola Luis decía sobre que nosotros podemos poder ser capacitadores, pero primero queremos recibir la buena semilla que ustedes tienen de la enseñanza del turismo, nosotros como guías aquí en Guatemala, y poder reproducir esos deseos que hay en el buen servicio del turismo.
Okay, Viola, have you heard Jose Luis is offering like a training center there in Guatemala, but yeah, you have to talk about this and to know how we can do, because some years ago also was the aim of Costa Rica and I don't know, some other countries perhaps too. So what we can do about this, to have a place for trainings here in Latin America, Central or South America. Okay.
Yeah, certainly. Let's talk. Get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you for your offer.
Okay. Thanks. So we're going to finish this webinar, please. At the beginning, I said, how can we be recognized? No? And I think that we must, let's make ourselves more visible. Let's associate. Let's be stronger and show that the guides feel proud of being guides. Hagámonos visibles todos, asociémonos, seamos mucho más fuertes y mostremos que los guías nos sentimos orgullosos de ser guías. And continuing training and learning and improving our skills, languages and knowledge and everything. Okay? Tenemos que mejorar día a día, mejorar en nuestras habilidades, capacidades, idiomas y conocimientos también. Es lo más importante. Quisiera ahora hacerles una invitación. Please, the next slide is about the next webinar that we're going to have. Join our 4th webinar series to be held on 27 November at 6:30 p.m. set time, featuring the European continent. Tenemos una cuarta serie de webinars que se dará el 27 de noviembre a las 6:30 hora set. En este caso se va a presentar el continente europeo, ¿no? Muchas gracias. Thanks for your attending. And of course, if you need something, you can enter to the webpage and also write to the different sectors of the WFTGA. Nos vemos pronto. Si desean, si tienen alguna consulta, pueden entrar a la página web. Toda la información está allí. Pueden escribir a membership@wftga.com. También para las capacitaciones a training@wftga.com. Estamos siempre en contacto. Nos vemos pronto en nuestro próximo webinar.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Have a good weekend. Have a good sleep. And see you in next month, November 27th, for the fourth webinar. Thank you to our moderator, Patricia, to our area representatives, Patricia, Emma, and Helga, for being with us, our board, President Sebastian, Vice President Christina, and our head of training, Viola. Thank you for coming and being with us at this late hour of the morning. Thank you for your dedication, and thank you to all who have attended today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Buenas noches. Buenos días.
Goodbye.
Buenas noches desde Arequipa, Perú. Soy Mel. Chao. Abrazos para todos. Goodbye, everybody. This is Mel from Peru.
Hi, Mel.
Gracias.
Hi, Mel.
Muchos saludos del Paraguay.
Gracias, Jacob.
Buenas noches para todos.
Un saludo.
Buenas
noches,
México.
Bye, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Viva.
Saludos desde Guatemala.
Adiós.
De Paraguay, muchos saludos.
Gracias.
See you.
Buenas noches de Chile.
Buenas noches.
Gracias por todo.
Buenas noches.
Gracias.
Buenas noches, Juan.
Bye, Gabi.
Hola, Maricar, Gabi.
Thank you so much, Maricar. Always a pleasure.
Thank
Go
you
to
for
sleep now.
Yes.
dream of us. Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Sebastian. Ciao.
Take care.